book flip through of my brand new book, Skin Tone Secrets. This book will teach you exactly how to, my cat, Zoe's here, her tail just took my camera away. This book will teach you exactly how to blend alcohol markers, what the exact color combinations you can use together to make beautiful skin tones, light, medium, dark, and every shade in between. But it also teaches you about light sources and shading, and three awesome ways that you can shade your faces. So I'm going to show you the book, and then I'm going to do an example of exactly how to use the book to make your face drawings awesome when you go to color them in with alcohol markers. Now, before you leave and be like, but I don't use alcohol markers, I also want to show you how to use this book for other mediums besides markers. There's a lot going on in this little book. Let's dive in. Okay, so first let's have a flip through, shall we? And I have Zoe here today instead of Tippy. Tippy normally is my studio cat who attacks me, and Zoe is much nicer. Zoe, I wish you were hanging out with me more often. Okay, so what's in this book? Excuse me, Zoobadoobs. Okay, so we have a big table of contents here. So it's easy, and actually this section 1, 2, and 3 of the skin tones, these are the main ones you're gonna want to use after you've read all of the introductory how-tos. Sections 1, 2, and 3 are going to be where you're going to start from. After you learn how to use the book, you're going to jump to these sections, and I will show you in a minute why those sections are so key. So first we talk about what are markers, what are their different kinds, and what makes alcohol markers in particular so unique. The anatomy of a marker, and I also go through what my favorite marker types are, and spoiler alert, it's the kind with a brush nib and a chisel. I use that brush nib about 95% of the time. I talk about my two favorites, which are Copics and Ohuhus, and why Ohuhus are the best alternatives for Copics in my opinion. Here are some more tips, basically going through why it's so important to swatch, importance of paper and why it literally is everything, and then my best marker coloring tips on how to eliminate streaking, how to avoid streaking, and then I have step-by-step instructions on how to layer with your alcohol markers so that you don't get streaking, how to add drama, mashing up your layers so that they work well together. And then I have a whole section on hair, because the biggest section of your character that you're going to be drawing besides the face is always going to be the hair. So I went kind of above and beyond to give you hair drawing tips in many different styles. We have kind of straight, we have up, we have wavy, and we have 3 methods for doing it curly. Now on to the meat of the book, which is all, this section is all on shading. We talk about light sources, okay, what that looks like simplified, black and white color. And the fact that there are 3, these are my favorite light patterns to draw. And this actually section actually comes out of my very first book I ever made, which is How to Draw Fun Fab Faces. This is actually the first edition. I did a second edition published in 2017. This one came out in 15, and I added a whole section on light sources. And these are my favorite and what I think are the most popular shading patterns you have when the light comes from the corner, the angled right or left side. And then this is actually head on. And each of this book is divided into 3 sections, equal sections, dedicated to these 3 shading patterns. And this is why I did this, okay? So when you go to Google, kind of like skin tones or light sources or skin tone combinations, what I always see, and it's a great resource, I'm not knocking this approach, it's very helpful, is here, I'll just use the book. I was like, I don't even know off the top of my head. See, this book gives you all the answers. So let's say R18, okay, pastel peach. This is pear color, R29. And this is how you would use this book, but it's more complicated, more complex, more helpful than just giving you the three shades. But spoiler alert, I do give you all the answers. I give you, I think there's 34 skin tone combinations. These all come from the Ohuhu 36 skin tone pack. All right. So here's what most people will, which is again, super helpful, but they'll say, okay, use these together. I've swatched them all and here they are, right? So we go like 1, 2, 3, and you're like, okay, that's awesome. But now when you go to draw a face, you're like, oh, how do I put 3 colors on a face though? Like where does the first color go? How much of the second color is there? What about the third? And some other super helpful artists will also say, give you these lovely, and again, super helpful. It's very helpful when you learn to blend, and I teach blending in my own courses this way as well. But there's fundamentally a lot of things missing with this, and this is what this book attempts to remedy. So then a lot of times, you know, you just have like a kind of like a swatching oval where you can learn how to layer, and you can kind of see, I'm kind of going quick and dirty here. You can see, oh yes, okay, I see how well these go together. That's very clear to me. And then you go back and you start back with the first one, and you can use this. Okay, so these little swatching bubbles are very helpful. So you can at a glance kind of see what colors coordinate, and that's all fine and good, and that is really helpful. So thank you for giving me my trio of colors. Thank you for giving me how they look together. And some people will also have like a final done too. So you do have all these three pieces. But what all of these other resources is sort of lacking is like, what does that look like? You know, it's cool to have the final, it's cool to have the blendy circle, it's cool to have the swatches, but how do you do it when it's like your turn? Like it's your turn, now how do you apply that to a face? Does that go across the face? Like that still doesn't teach me how to put that on a face. So this is what this book attempts to tackle, all of those things. I also have a page, more on that in 1 second. I just have to wrap up with highlights. I get this question all the time from my students, which is like, where do I put the highlights on my faces? And this is like a master graph. This is actually a mixed media project, but it shows you all the places that you can add highlights to your faces. Now, I don't typically do them all in one piece. I did this one as a teaching example. So again, I'm kind of just giving you the blatant answers. Like you can put highlights here, period. Any of those places will work. There you go. There's also a quick page on like layering. Like you can't put alcohol markers over other things, no. But you can put it under a lot of other things. So here's a nice reminder page and more information on that. And this is just a page showing you that oh my gosh. Oh no, I do have them here. I'm using for this book the Ohuhu 36 set, like I just said, and this is how I swatch them at home. And this is also why I'm making this video right now, is that when you swatch, when you buy Ohuhus or any other markers, they have this like random swatching. Like this is their swatch little card, but like the colors are all messed up. So when you're swatching any product, it doesn't have to be this set whatsoever, literally any skin set, do yourself a favor and organize them by color family, okay? Now I do this all for you in the book. You don't have to even do it yourself. But I literally cut up my swatches and I can lay them out and pick so much more easily. But again, I've done all this for you. You don't have to do this. But if you're using other mediums or you're using comparable markers, this is my biggest hot tip for you. Okay, so how to use this book. Number one, you're going to create your drawing. Now, if you are not awesome at drawing faces and you need help, my first book, How to Draw Fun Fab Faces, is in the style of all the characters you'll see throughout this book for you, okay? And I have actually 3. I have one on fellas, I have one on how to draw turn faces as well. Just in case you're flipping through and you like this style, that's where this style stems from. Step 2, figure out which shading pattern you want. So that's section 1, 2, and section 3, okay? And then step 3 is to flip through the book and pick out any skin tone combination that you like. And the skin tone combinations I've already picked for you. So all you do is flip to the page to be like, I want that skin tone combination. Done. Okay, so here are again, you have section 1 are all the shading patterns on this side. Section 2 will only show you shading patterns like this, and section 3 has only shading patterns like this. But you can mix and match, and you can use these to inform your projects no matter what mediums that you're working in. So you could use that shading pattern when you're painting, like with acrylics. It doesn't matter. So you can use this book for just the shading information alone. It's so super helpful. Okay, and then oh yeah, and step 4, grab your markers. And then I do also show you step by step where to put each color so you know what to do. So section 1, we're looking at, this would be, this is the simplified view. Okay, and this is what this book doesn't go into depth on. You get the simplified view, but then I realized we need to break this down more, and that's what this book does. And here are some real world examples of what those shading patterns look like on a real human being. Okay, so that's the left, that's when the light source is on the right, and this part is shaded for you. Okay, and here's the opposite, where the light source on the left and the shading is on the right, even for a giraffe. All right, okay, so now this is where it's fun. So all of the drawings in this section all have the same light source. So you can learn from the pattern, what does that look like? And then I show you step by step what it looks like to add 1, 2, 3 colors, 1, 2, 3 colors. So you know exactly where to apply them on the human face to get that pattern and the coloring done on your face successfully. Boom, everything is done here for you. So again, the way to use this book is number 1, pick your shading pattern. Okay, so these are all shaded on the left side or right. You can flip them, it's the same. This one is a little bit more drama, and again, this is section 2. These are real world examples, and then these are all the ones, the same characters, but I'm repeating them in each section, doing the shading patterns in a different way and using different skin tone combinations, okay? But they all work. And here's the last section, which is when you have this symmetrical going. Okay, same thing, same characters, different palettes, different light source shading combinations. Step by step, how to draw them all. Okay, and then here's the little note about how you can use this book for other mediums. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so does that make sense? Now, for further practice, I wanted to go one step further. Say you're not that awesome at drawing, or you don't have an interest in learning how to draw, but you want to learn to color. You enjoy coloring, coloring books or what have you. There is a link in the book that will get you this whole packet. I made a 25-page coloring packet for you that contains all of the characters that are included in this book already. You get a swatch sheet, practice sheet, and then you get a single character. Okay, so you can print this out on your home printer, preferably on cardstock, so you don't have to bleed through like crazy and your markers actually work. And I'm also giving you the swatch sheets. Now, originally I had the hoo-hoos on here, the hoo-hoo colors, but then I realized you might not have a hoo-hoos, you might be swatching a different product. So I left these blank so you can fill in yourself. This should be the marker number or color or whatever, and then you can use these to, this is literally what I used for my own markers. You can see them here, and again, and then I cut them up so I can do them really quickly and easily. Okay, so then you can also practice. So you can practice your little heart out. And I've already seen people buy the book and print these out, and they're already posting them in my Facebook group. It makes me so happy because I know they're learning. So let's do one. Okay, and I have to do the baby because it's so cute that I can't really stand it. Okay, so how to use this book. Remember, we're gonna pick the light source first. So that will be sections 1, 2, or 3. I'll just do the first one. So that would be that's the upper side of the shading. And then we need to pick the skin tone combination. Oh, here, I'll just do these because I have them out right now. Oh, but this is different. Oh, 18, 29, 26. Okay, so it just so happens I'm picking the first section and also skin tones from the first section, but you don't have to. I could pick this lighting and then go and just pick and land on any other page and be like, okay, I'm gonna do these colors. So see how you can mix and match? So fun if I do say so myself. Okay, and then you have your little baby. And we're gonna practice. So now I'm gonna follow the directions. I'm gonna say R18 is first. Okay, so that's all over the place. Whoop. So get out your baby. All right, and I'll give you my hot coloring chips right now as well. Which is, you gotta move quick. Alcohol markers are funny, tricky little beasts. They look easy, and then people try them and they're like, why do I hate these markers so much? It's because they're tricky. Okay, so you have to move fast. The alcohol solution is where the pigments live. So you want to keep it nice and wet. So when you lay it down, they're nice and wet. And for them to blend, every time you add a color, you're like stirring up the pigments of the color underneath, and that's why these colors blend so well. And you can even use the same color twice to get that shading. That's why, even if you're like scared to do shading, you can practice by just doing a double layer of the same color. That's why each swatch has 2 tones. That's 1 layer and that's 2. See how much darker that second layer is? That's simply that there's just 2 coats on there. So say I was scared. Okay, I'm going to do this shading pattern. So what does that look like? That looks like this. Just following along. And if you're not sure, too, go to the baby. Go find the baby with the same shading pattern and you can follow these exact steps, okay? This is what these practice sheets are for. Okay, so I start up here. So if I'm scared, you can do a practice run with the same base color. Okay, so it goes around the eye. Oh my God, he's so freaking cute. I can't even stand it. And then there's a little swipe on this side. That is it. And see how just 1 color, 2 coats already gives you shading? Oh, boom. So if you're scared, that's a great place to start. So then my second color was R29. Again, I refer to my book. Where do I go? Okay, I go, I can see. And I talk more about this in the beginning pages. I teach you how much of the first color to leave behind and how much of the second tone to add. So it's all in the book for you. So that's layer 2. And then layer 3 was R29. Okay, for this, I'm gonna go boop, boop. And we go even in a smaller area. Oh, heavens to Betsy, you are cutesy pootski. And then and then each of these pages and characters also has there's like a little hot tip for every character, for every single drawing. So this one says add cheeks with this R21 fruit pink. Doesn't get much cuter than this. Okay, so there's the peach I added for this skin tone combo. So I'm like, oh, I want to try that. So where's that? Now that's a different skin tone combination, but also that's okay. We learned from the book to swatch. So let's put it down and see how it looks. Yeah, that would go. That's all right. So test it. I have a whole page on why it's important to test your colors. All right. So let's do some little cheeky weekies. Oh, goodness. We can even make them real big. Okay. And there we go. and we're good to go. Now you can finish coloring your baby's clothes as you like. But this is a thin book, and there is really so much packed information in here. So tips on using this book for other purposes. What you can do is, say you have a skin tone pack of a different kind of marker. Say, oh, I don't know, this Tombow dual brush pen portrait sets. What you can do is print out your color swatching sheets. This is exactly what they are made for. Okay? Swatch your colors. Okay, so let's say swatched out all your colors. I'm only going to do one because I think you can do the rest. This is 990. I would swatch all of my colors out, okay? Then I would cut this sheet into color swatching cubes. Okay? Then I would organize them into color families, and you can use the pick 3 shades in each color family as a very basic way to pick your own colors. If you want to go a step further, you can match the swatches I've done in the book in Ohuhu's and find similar colors in whatever other medium you're working in, and look and see if you can find combinations that are similar, close enough to each other, that will work. Okay, so you have 2 ways that you can choose colors. You can either match them up to these colors or choose them in the shading family using your color swatch sheet like I've taught you. And then also refer back to this. At the very least, you'll know how to apply the 3 colors in what order to create the most popular shading patterns for all of your drawn faces. In addition, there is one more resource in here that you should know about, which is a link to my marker tone swatching guide, which is if you have Copics or the Arteza 36 skin tone set of Everblend alcohol markers. I have swatched all 136 Copics along with these, along with the Artezas, and I have grouped them all into color families together. So it's like a giant cheat sheet. So if you want to use this book, you can grab your Copics, know exactly the comparable Ohuhu ones, and you can use this book as a resource for that. But the shading secrets alone, this really could be called Skin Tone and Shading Secrets, is really what this book should be called. I hope it's an awesome, awesome resource for you, and it makes coloring your faces an absolute breeze. These are available on Amazon worldwide, and my club members get this ebook for free. If you would like information on my art clubs, I run them all at awesomeartschool.com. You can add your name to the wait list to any of them. I have 3. The Fun Fab Drawing Club, where we learn how to draw and color all sorts of things. 2, Mixed Media Society, where we use different mediums and learn how to paint. And my 3rd one is the Celtic Collective, which is we do only watercolor, gouache, drawings, tone paper drawings, and I am introducing alcohol markers into the Celtic Collective because my members are demanding it, and I am all more than happy to comply, especially after the release of this book, to help with skin tones. And in the Celtic Collective, we only depict and create fantasy characters, mythical creatures like fairies and dragons, unicorns, mermaids, castles, medieval, you got the picture. So awesomeartschool.com if you want to add your name to the wait list. We have overwhelmed with people, so when we have a cancellation, we'll let you know and you can come on over. So if you have any questions about the book, please drop them below in the comment section and I'd be happy to answer them for you. I hope you learned what awesomeness there is in this little baby book of mine, and I hope you grab it, and it makes coloring and drawing faces super easy and fun for you. Thanks, bye.